Hey there, Colorado Explorers. I get a lot of questions asking, when is the best time to come to Colorado? Well, it all depends what you're looking for. Now, the first season we're going to talk about is spring. It's the season we're most antsy, we're tired of being stuck at home, and we want to get out and hike. And it may seem like it's 70 degrees wherever you are or here in the mountains, but if you're just going hiking to get off the trails and find some waterfalls, as soon as you get in some tree line or above 8,000 feet on northern facing slopes, you're going to be knee to waist deep in snow, depending on the trail. Most of the things you want to see, like streams and waterfalls, will still be covered in ice and snow. That includes some hot springs, and those hot springs will be very difficult to get to. There will be lower elevation hot springs that are kind of near roads or rivers, major rivers, and those might be accessible, but more than likely they'll be covered by snow or ice, or the snow is melting so fast that the rivers and streams take over the hot springs. Your best bet is lower elevation Colorado, and that could be, the eastern plains, like the Paint Mines, or you could go to western Colorado from Glenwood Springs on. Mesa Verde National Park is a good example. If you're staying on the trail, you'll get to see all those cool cliff dwellings, or Colorado National Monument, and there's some wilderness in the area, kind of near Colorado National Monument, where you can see a ton of arches and cool geological features. Of course, feel free to cheat on Colorado at this time and cross over the border to Utah and see some amazing geological features. And also, you'll see some swimming holes out in the western part of Colorado. I would not go to any of the swimming holes in the higher mountains. Just in the western part or the eastern part of Colorado. The ones in the middle, the ones at higher elevations, will be too cold, too fast, or frozen. This video here was taken from backpacking on the 4th of July on the 2019 summer. And this year was one of the snowiest years I've ever seen. Our snowpack was 500% above normal. And this route, the 4-pass loop that goes around the Maroon Bells, was impassable without ice climbing gear. That's how much snow we had. But typically this season goes till about mid-June. After that, you'll still see some snow patches on the trail through July, but it's a lot more safer. Now let's talk about the summer season. And this will be from late June to mid-September. But you're going to get the best of the season from the July 4th weekend to about mid-August. And this is when there is plenty of moisture in the ground. You got a ton of wildflowers blooming. The trails are absolutely beautiful. The waterfalls are raging. The streams are it's just a wonderful time of the year. If you came out to go cliff diving or relaxing in the water, usually around the July 4th weekend, maybe a little later, just depending on the stream or the river, would be the best time to come out. During the earlier part of summer, some of the water is raging a bit too hard, but usually around mid-July, you can really enjoy these activities of floating down the river, jumping off cliffs, getting into hot springs. The hot springs at higher elevations that you have to hike to, you can definitely get to those at this time of the year. It's really just the best time of the year, but it's also the busiest time of the year. Now we get to autumn/fall, which is about mid-September to late October. Just depends when the big snow starts to come in at those higher elevations. This part of the year is a lot more peaceful. There's a lot less people. You can have the trails to yourself. You're going to be hiking through small snowstorms probably. A lot of the vegetation will start to dry and the wildflowers kind of die out. The waterfalls aren't raging like they were before. But at the earlier part of this season, you really get to enjoy the aspen colors. Those fall colors is what people enjoy most here when the leaves are turning. You're going to get some crowds from the Front Range, some leaf peepers especially in the areas closer to Denver and Boulder. And then after the leaves fall, you're going to enjoy some really peaceful hiking. You're not going to find a lot of people out there, maybe some hunters, but you're pretty much going to have the trails to yourself, which is pretty awesome. Then we get to winter. I'm not much of a winter person, but of course there are a ton of things in Colorado you can do in the winter time. A lot of the resorts open by Thanksgiving weekend, but you really aren't going to get your first good snowfall until late December. But if you're just looking to get out and hike, you're going to need to bring some snowshoes or some backcountry gear. So I hope that helped you out in choosing a time when you come to visit Colorado or get up into the mountains. And if you're wondering what to do while you're up in the mountains, I have a ton of other videos on my channel, like the best waterfalls, hot springs, alpine lakes, ghost towns, swimming areas, just beautiful, beautiful views. So come check out the channel and find something amazing to do this season.